So it appears that TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, who are co-hosts of a morning show, I'll tell you which one in a minute, had an affair. And I say appears because there's so many different angles to this thing. This thing is deep. I don't know how public people think they can get away with anything, especially in 2022, almost 2023. Listen, y'all, this tea is hot. And this fellow named Jason Pham, that's whose article I'm going to be reading and giving commentary behind, he did his digging. I went in search of doing my own research because I saw some Facebook posts, or on TikTok, some people were sharing some Facebook posts where he was talking about his wife over the past 10 years. Y'all, see this strong black woman thing? Y'all got to loose that. Whatever color woman, stop being the strong woman. The strong woman who tolerates all kind of BS ends up just like this. Okay? Now, are there some that eventually come around? Yeah, but how decrepit are they at that point? We did that with Loretta and Noel. This is what we gonna do, all right? We gonna talk about it. Be right back. Okay, so before I dive into this, some of you may have noticed two things. One is that I've kind of been absent. I haven't really been around. It's because when life summons me to sit my behind down because there's some stuff I need to expand in, I sit my behind down. And so that's where I was. So what kind of expanding? Spiritual expansion. I can hear some of y'all now. How's she talking spirituality, talking this messy shit? Because I'm a whole person. And if you're going to learn anything through me, it is to be who you are. You don't have to be all the good girl stuff, and you don't have to be straight up raunchy, nasty, whatever. But whatever you are, own it. Embrace it all. Be your whole self, okay? Because there ain't going to be shut down, quieted, or put in a corner by anybody. Zara lives out loud, happily, and doing what it is I enjoy doing. So here we go. You here because you want some of this. And I can hear some of y'all gonna be in the comments by the time I finish with this, because I'm not as mad as TJ as a lot of y'all are. And when I start going through some of these FB posts and other stuff that he's written and breaking some stuff down, then hopefully y'all will expand, okay? Somebody will. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about his wife. And then go straight to the FB posts, because that is what intrigued me to begin with. That, and then he wrote an essay somewhere else. And so I'm going to read some of that too. He really put a lot of his life on Front Street. I don't like that shit personally. And if some of y'all who've been around me know that my life has kind of been on Front Street too. And don't y'all know social media ain't for you? It's to be able to dig back and see what you've done and what you've said. Listen, I ain't gonna be held bound to anything I have done or anything that I have been. So, I know how to push forward no matter what. Most people don't, okay? And most things come back to bite you in the ass. So anyway, a little bit about his wife, Marilee Fiebig. Never heard that last name before. She's a badass. She's an attorney, and she comes from a family of attorneys. All of her siblings, they are all attorneys. She has legit done a lot of professional work, working with the immigration department, or as an immigrant attorney. Don't quote me on immigration departments, working with, as in helping the immigrants. And has done a whole lot of other things, and just a brilliant woman. She's beautiful, she's brilliant, and for a lot of people, they think that's the full package. And if you're beautiful and brilliant, then, what else does he want? There is nothing, women, that you can do and be and not be enough of, or be, a full package for. There ain't no such thing when somebody else just has urges, okay? Let's read some of this. This Jason Pham, who writes for Stylecaster, he went and took this thing from every angle. So apparently, TJ wrote a post in 2013 for The Root in honor of his and his wife's 4th anniversary. He wrote, "Not only is my marriage still intact, it's actually working pretty well. And that made me uncomfortable, he wrote. You see, I didn't fully understand why my marriage was flourishing. And I feared that if I didn't understand what we were doing right, how would we know what to keep doing? He explained that his eureka moment in his marriage came that week when Fiebig helped him write a business email. I asked my wife to review it, and she thought the tone of the email was too aggressive, confrontational, and negative. She was right. Her input stopped me from making the mistake of hitting send, Holmes wrote. That innocuous email is emblematic of our entire relationship. In all I do, I have a partner looking out for me, advising me, keeping me on track, and stopping me from making a mistake, no matter how great or small. Oh, ain't that sweet? Oh, that sounds so sweet. Holmes explained that though he was still the same guy at the core, he did see several positive changes to himself as a result of his marriage to Fiebig. My family and I are closest. My individual net worth has gone up every year since we met. I've learned a second language. I'm healthier. I use the N-word less. I listen to Sunday church service more. I'm a better friend. I'm more forgiving than I used to be. I'm more involved in charitable work, Holmes wrote. In every way, I'm better off because I'm married. So for me, a successful marriage has revolved around this principle. I like who I am with her. He likes who he is with her. It was all about what she was doing for him. Am I opposed to a woman making a man better? No. Here's what I believe. I believe any two people who come together ought to be better at the end of it. Ought to be better as individuals at the end of it. But I believe the intention going in ought to be that this person is going to be better off when I leave them. When this is over, if this comes to an end, they are going to be better off because I will be getting better as a result of being a part of this. If you're not getting better in a relationship, what's the point? And if it's on one person who's constantly just building the other person up and the other person is not being built up, then that is not an equal relationship. I can hear you religious folk right now. Yeah, that's right. It ain't equally yoked. Yeah, an equal relationship is, if you are looking at it from a religious standpoint, is an equal going in. All right, that ain't what I came here for. I'm moving right along. Shit. Okay, so T.J. Holmes' wife, Marilee, says that she was blindsided because it was her understanding that they were still working on the relationship. She even admits that they had been separated. So they were separated for a few months, but she thought they were still working on the relationship, while he was clearly working on somebody else. If that is not indicative of some different values, she was under the understanding that they were still working for the marriage. He let her believe they were still working on the marriage while he's working on something else. And there were other clear indications earlier in the relationship based on TJ's writings that their value systems did not match up from the beginning. Now they out here all loosey-goosey, y'all. They are hanging out in bars, not far at all from where they work, and think people are not out with their cell phones. They go to some log cabin somewhere outside of New York, where they bring in all their food, so they're cooking and all their drinks and stuff, and they don't have to go out. But then they come outside, and TJ taps that right cheek, and then comes back and tap that left cheek. Or maybe it was the other way around, but it's clear that they are together, and they've spent a couple days together. Y'all, remember, and I can't remember if we just wrote about this in the book or where, but there was this executive who had two families. He had his family on the West Coast, and then he had this woman in Atlanta. And people were like, how you ain't know this man is married after all this time? And the woman came back like, oh honey, I got receipts. I didn't know he was married because he spent most of his time with me. Now, both of them thought he was committed to them because that is what he painted. Let me tell you what girlfriend did. Girlfriend, when he came out like, nah, she ain't all that. She pulled out all the receipts and then did a billboard in Times Square with a picture of them. Oh, really? We weren't, it wasn't that serious? So she comes with all the receipts, y'all. It is 2022, almost 2023. There is no getting away with anything. Okay, so here is this now infamous Facebook post for his 10-year anniversary in 2020. And TJ writes, this particular decade challenge is a little late, but 10 years ago, Marilee Fiebig married me. And despite my best efforts, she remained married to me the past 10 years. And that is not hyperbole. No, he wrote that. I'm not being dramatic. I gave her plenty of reasons, excuses, and opportunities to walk her fine ass out the door. But instead, with her built-in black woman superpower, that makes my blood boil. She showed a grace and patience that's incomprehensible. You can have grace and patience and still walk the F out the door, okay? He proceeds, asking her for another 10 years would be asking too much. Another 10 months? Question mark. That may even be a stretch. This man is saying he knows she is too good for him. He knows that he is not what she needs. He knows that what she wants him to be, he is not capable. Or he has just been faking the funk. We don't know. But instead, with her built-in black woman superpower, she shows grace and patience that's incomprehensible. Asking for another 10 years would be asking too much. Asking another 10 months, that may even be a stretch. If she gave me another 10 weeks, I should consider myself lucky. If she puts up with another 10 days, I'd be grateful. But if she would even spare another 10 minutes of her time for me today, I should consider myself blessed. What's this man's sign? Is he a Taurus or a Leo? And I'm a shut up. Okay. Wait. Okay. Stop. He continued. This is Marilee Fiebig Holmes, y'all. And I, TJ Holmes, do solemnly swear that I was her. I don't get that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I read that before this. I ain't get it then. I don't get that last line now. But y'all, this man is like, I do what the fuck I want. She just tolerates it. Oh, can I not say that? This man is like, I do what I want, and she tolerates it. She takes it. She settles. She has been conditioned. She has formed into what I need her to be so that I stay around. Because if she was in relationship with me based on the priorities of herself, she would not be with me another 10 minutes. Yet, she stayed with me for 10 years. And from everything we've heard, she would have been with him for another 10 years while he continued to do what he wants to do, be who he wants to be. And while she thought they were still working on on the marriage, he saw an opportunity to go and do something else. Y'all better take these folk for who they say they are. I mean, if you're going to do this thing in the 3D, my spirituality has expanded. If you want to do this thing in the 3D, then you better take these folk for who they are, unless you're going to go to the 5D and really be able to operate in your Christ consciousness. That's why, I'm going to bring y'all along, and we're going to figure out what all this is, all right? Okay. For now, we're going to stay right here in this 3D messy shit. Okay, come on. And then he got on social media and gave an indication that they were done while she is still thinking that they're working on things. Holmes sparked rumors he and Fiebig had split in April 2022 with a cryptic message that he put on Instagram. And it reads, "In the relationship and cry once. It's better than being with them and crying daily." Well, who's crying? Apparently she was. Because surely he wouldn't be saying all these wonderful things about this woman for the past 10, 12 years if she is the one that's causing him to cry for the past 10, 12 years. But he posted it and then he removed it in April. Oh, wait. It says he deleted it in November after the news broke of he and Amy. So he went and removed it, and now both of he and Amy's accounts are private. Dude, messy, yeah. He messy. And he's been having his way for a long time. And now, looks like the both of them, although still married, somebody got a private investigator. I believe that's how that happened. And others are speculating on that too. However it went down. Damn, it's some hot tea, right? You can't be in the public eye doing messy things and it not be found out. You can't. Even if you're not in the public eye, let me tell you something. Whether I'm in the public eye or not, if there's something I want to know, I'm going to find out. But if I get to the point that I feel like I need to be snooping on you, it's just time to end it. That's how I roll. That's what my value system says. Y'all, this private investigator, I'm guessing that's what happened. A private investigator or this Daily Mail and all of them, the way they were after Wendy Williams and her husband. I ain't mean that. Her husband. The way they were after him and all the stuff they found out. Y'all, it could have just been them. But somebody got wind because they got all kind of footage out there on them. I ain't going to collect it. Y'all just go find it. But it's out there. So listen. The way this thing is rolling now is that apparently the corporation, ABC Morning, whatever the name of the morning show is, they are not doing anything to them. There will be no repercussions. They continue to work together. Apparently they're really cute together and they have some chemistry, and now we understand why. Here's why y'all might have a problem with me. This man showed this woman who he was for the past 10 years. It sounds like she got used to him being who he is and doing whatever he wanted to do. Now, nowhere does it actually say that he was unfaithful to her during those times, but it sounds like he had some asshole moments, and rather frequently, even he didn't believe that she needed to stay with him, or that she needed to be with him, which is some people's way of saying, I don't really want this. I don't want to be with you. And rather than having the emotional intelligence enough to look at the relationship and say, this isn't working for me, and I really do just want to, part ways right now, and, maybe we'll figure this out later, or I absolutely know this is not what I want, he opted to do some other things. So she knew who she had. And you can say, yeah, but she said I do, and she got married, and she did it for the long haul. Maybe she did it for the long haul, but she also saw who he was. What is for sure is there was some conditioning that happened on her part that made it okay for her to be who she was and allow him to be who he was, and her seemingly getting short end of the stick. Because it doesn't sound like, she was in any way, shape, or form a kept woman or needed him for resources. In fact, if anything, it sounds like she was the one who did the elevating of him. Anyway, I believe that you need to end a relationship before you move into another. I believe you need to be honest in relationships when things are not going well. If the communication happens and you don't get what you need, then you have some decisions to make. None of us knows how this was going with TJ and his wife, and I chose to focus on them rather than Amy because, quite honestly, I don't really know these two people. Even though it looks like they were both married the same year, and then their lives merged, and they came out of it the same. They parted with their spouses at the same time so that they could go be together. They're consenting adults. They can do whatever they want. That's really the bottom line here. They are consenting adults. They get to do what they want to do. And when consenting adults do things that hurt us, it's up to us to take that thing, not become bitter because of it, but actually better. How do I learn from this? How do I grow from this? How do I allow this man to go ahead and live his life and do whatever it is he needs to do, and me not take the poison that could accompany this experience? We all make choices, y'all. I ain't mad. I ain't mad at him. Do I see the messiness in it? Yes. Are humans messy? Yes. Are all humans messy? No. So you don't have to be. Do I enjoy the interactions and intricacies of relationships? Yes, they are interesting, because most people don't have the emotional intelligence necessary in order to have healthy relationships. Honor, esteem, and respect, y'all. That ought to be the basis of all relationships, so that when they need to come to an end, because relationships run their course, and maybe when they got together 10 years ago, she didn't understand some things, she could have grown through it, and then come to a point where she said, you know what? I was in for this in the beginning, but this thing don't seem to be getting me. It seems to be lopsided. I'm just not down for it. She could have come to that. He already knew he could have come. Neither one of them did. The emotional intelligence was not there for them to end that thing in a better way. Clearly, that's the case for him and Amy and her husband. Y'all, I say all the time, and I've been saying it for years, do not neglect personal growth. Do not neglect your own personal development. Do not neglect emotional growth, because that is what will help you to curtail some hurt and unnecessary messiness as humans. All right, that's all I got for you today. I'm Zara Green. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, come back. I told you sometime I do some of this messy stuff, but for the most part, you're going to get some sound personal development and now some spirituality that helps you expand. Until next time, it's your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, it can get better. From somewhere in these South American streets, ciao for now.